Hi, and welcome to More Human, More Resources, the HR podcast for entrepreneurs. I'm Vicki Brown, your host and CEO of Vidamaneo Enterprises. As a serial entrepreneur, I understand that having the right expert help has been critical to my success. That's why I'm dedicated to telling you, in plain language, what's going on in the world of HR that might impact your business and what you need to do about it, with real actionable tips to help you master that list of must-dos and grow your leadership muscle. First things first, the information contained in this podcast is provided for general purposes only and is not to be considered legal advice. Your decision to adopt or not adopt any practice or procedure mentioned in this podcast is solely yours, and we bear no responsibility for the outcome. We urge you to always consult legal counsel and other appropriate licensed professionals. And with that, let's get into the show. You're listening to Season 2, Episode 5. Recently, a client came to me with a problem. She had a long-term, dependable, extremely capable employee. This young man was fast, detail-minded, had a great grasp of the company's systems and processes, and he had a breadth of knowledge that, well, it was beyond most of the other team members. And he'd been with the company for more than 8 years. So, what was the problem? Well, my client felt like he was becoming slowly, but surely, unmanageable. Flexibility had always been a big development area for him. In fact, he hated it. Now, she wasn't sure if it went along with being so detail-minded, but whatever. He hated change, hated to alter the way things were done. In fact, he would actually put it back on the client. Why can't they do this or why can't they do that? Needless to say, not very customer-focused. She also mentioned that he had become short and demanding with team members. In fact, she thought they were beginning to walk on eggshells around him and even avoid dealing with him for fear of his reactions. I'll admit, when I heard all this, it seemed like a fairly simple issue. Give him a warning and tell him to shape up or ship out. And I told her as much. But then she began to list his qualities. He really was amazingly knowledgeable about so many processes in the business. His work quality was top-notch, and his work quantity was otherworldly. And he was committed to his work and the business. In fact, his work ethic was so focused that it sometimes became myopic, and he struggled to see other perspectives. She felt torn. How could she deal with these growing problems without potentially losing an otherwise strong team member? So I asked her 2 questions. 1, was he always this way? And 2, if something changed, when and what? After she took a beat to think about it, she said while flexibility was always a development point for him, but no, it wasn't always this bad. It seemed like as time went on and his responsibilities grew, he was becoming more difficult to work with, and he was challenging her at every turn. Okay, a quick time out here. Being challenged by your team members is actually a good thing. Their perspectives are different from yours and can be really valuable adding to your thinking. So by all means, let's keep that quality. And she agreed, but felt that where it crosses over the line is when decisions are challenged after they've been made, or someone keeps at you after you've said, this is the way we're going. And she's not wrong. She had tried various strategies, having a heart-to-heart, being collaborative and inclusive, being directive, and none of it seemed to improve things for very long. She was exhausted and admitted she felt like avoiding him too. You may have found yourself in the same type of situation. You know you need to address an employee's performance, but they are really good at the technical side of their job, and they are beyond dependable. And when things are good, they're really good, and on and on. But you have to be balanced about what's happening. Listen, really good employees don't just become really bad employees overnight for no reason. Have they taken on too much responsibility? Are they overloaded? Maybe they just don't have the skills you think they have, and they're feeling underwater, given your expectations. Maybe there's something going on in their personal life. Or maybe they're just not feeling challenged in ways that truly grow them. You know, once someone shows they're good at something, we do have a tendency to put them in a box and expect them to keep doing that thing. But we have to recognize that that thing may have become boring for them. Or maybe it's something as simple as they need time away so they can take a breath and get a better perspective. And the question of being unmanageable? Well, actually no one is unmanageable. They're just people that we choose not to manage for one reason or another. To put it in a phrase, it's not them, it's you. You have to sit down, let them know what you're seeing and experiencing, what your expectations are, and where they're falling short. And let it be a dialogue. How can you help them? What do they need? Then be clear about the consequences. And yes, there must be consequences. You can't just let this type of behavior go on unchecked. It'll poison the whole team. Listen, the leader's job isn't easy, and in fact, this is one of the more difficult challenges you'll face. But you have to remember, show up with consistency. If you draw clear boundaries with one team member, but tolerate something different from another team member, it diminishes your leadership. You have to hold everyone to the same standard, hopefully a standard of excellence. And don't be clouded by thinking, they're so good, I don't want to rock the boat. When I hear people say, he does an excellent job, he's just really difficult to work with. Well, does he in fact do an excellent job? Isn't part of the job to work effectively with team members and clients? Why would you think that physical work production is one job requirement and communication and interpersonal skills is a completely separate job requirement? They're all requirements of the same job, and all the job requirements should be met. So, when someone says to me, he's a great employee but no one can work with him, I say back to them, then he's not a great employee. And that's what needs to be fixed. If you found this information helpful, please leave a review and tell a friend. Thanks for spending the time. Until next week, same time, same place.